We continue to get reaction, of course, to that announcement of a cabinet reshuffle. We're joined now by Democratic Alliance spokesperson Karabo Khakhau. Karabo, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. At what point you were getting, I suppose, the information that this cabinet reshuffle was going to take place? And was there any discussion amongst some of the GNU members?
Good evening, Naledi. Good evening to your viewers. Look, if there was a proper discussion that was had, then there definitely would have been a record of the Democratic Alliance protest of a reshuffle of Simelane. The DA has always been very clear that a compromised minister shouldn't be reshuffled. That minister should be fired with immediate effect. A VBS scandal, Naledi, is not a code for a reshuffle. It is a code for firing. We know very clearly that Ms. Simelane was not fit for her job as the Justice Minister, but we also know for a fact that she's also not fit to hold the office of Minister of Human Settlements. A compromised minister shouldn't even find themselves in cabinet altogether. And so we believe that the decision taken by the president, in all honesty, is a spit in the face of all the people who have been affected by the VBS scandal. Pensioners, poor people who had no hope other than the money that they had invested in VBS, a VBS that was milked for interests that are clearly not aligned to anything other than the pockets of greedy politicians, people who have absolutely no care for people who are battling to put food on the table. So that discussion didn't take place, and if it did, if it would have, then we would have probably not found ourselves here. So we're saying again, we're making a call to the president to say, again, you have an opportunity, Mr. President, to choose between South Africans and your political party. And here is an opportunity to show the people who have been affected by VBS that you at least care about them and their pain. You want to give them justice. And firing Ms. Simelane from cabinet is actually a good step in the right direction to giving justice to those people, to show them that you care, to show South Africans that you respect them, that you see them, and that you rate them. Currently, South Africans are very disrespected. So we're not happy. No, it's not on.
And okay, so that reaction, very, very clear. What you make, though, of Mamoloko Kubai then taking over the role of Justice and Constitutional Development Minister?
Look, Mayor Kubai, when she was Minister of Human Settlements, the Democratic Alliance in that portfolio committee raised objections on a number of things, such as the issuing of title deeds. That is a backlog across the country, the clamping down on corruption across the Human Settlements Department, that is something that has been an ongoing thing for years that she hasn't been able to fix adequately. You have provinces like the Free State, for example, that when they have to issue title deeds to people, they cite reasons such as the unavailability of quantity surveyors as a problem. That is something that we cannot have, because ultimately a title deed is equivalent to dignity for people. People without homes are people without dignity, and that's something as the Democratic Alliance have been fighting for. So whether or not Mayor Mamoloko will still be able to do a better job, constitutional development, it is yet to be seen. But we did raise objections of her tenure during her human settlements. Hopefully she'll do a better job at constitutional development and justice. But the bottom line here, Naledi, is you take a department that is always in the center of conversations of corruption, conversations of money laundering, conversations of everything that is wrong. You have webs of corruption. That department itself has shown itself to be in need of a cleansing. You do not take a person that is already involved and embroiled in a VBS scandal and put them at the helm of solving such problems of corruption within the country. It does not serve the interests of the Republic at all. It does not serve the interests of people who depend on a functioning government. It does not serve the interest of even our brand internationally. And that's why we maintain to say the president shouldn't have taken Ms. Simelane, a person who's already compromised and shown herself to not be fit for purpose. You do not take them away from one goalpost and shove them to the next goalpost, because that's not good for the country. What South Africans want is to ensure that we have a human settlements minister that will ensure that people have homes, but not only homes, good quality homes that aren't asbestos roofed houses, that aren't used as bargaining chips for political gains or in exchange for political cards and political favors, that people have also title deeds attached to those things, and people ultimately have dignity. We are not convinced that Simelane is the right person for that job. And it is on the basis of that that we make a call to the president to say, you have an opportunity, Mr. President, to at least show that in the spirit of the GNU, to show South Africans that you are committed to fixing what has been wrong for the past 30 years of democracy in South Africa, that for once you are interested in making sure that South Africans can be proud of the government of the day. This is the opportunity. Show up for South Africans and do that for them. Get rid of Simelane.
Your statement is the Democratic Alliance to this announcement. I mean, colourful to say the least, right? You write the president's decision to remove her as Minister of Justice and redeploy her to Minister of Human Settlements, you say, is short-sighted and disrespectful to South Africa. So some strong words are being used there. You said the indecisiveness of the president, who is explicitly committed to fighting corruption, is especially shocking and quite blatantly insincere. I don't know if these are conversations that already at this time of night would have taken place inside the Democratic Alliance around any steps, if at all, are going to be taken by the party.
Look, Naledi, the statement is bold, colorful as you call it, but it's the truth. The bottom line here is the president's removal of Simelane from her previous Department of Justice and Constitutional Development is an admission of himself, his recognition himself, that there is something wrong with her as a minister and that she cannot be trusted to be at the helm of a department. So that admission itself should also serve as reason enough to not send her anywhere near people who depend on the state for housing, people who without the state won't have homes to raise their children, let alone leave as legacies. And one day when their ancestors, that people can go back home during Christmas or December and celebrate to say, this is home. That person is not the person that you send to that plight. So bold as those words are, they are the truth. And that is why, as the Democratic Alliance, we were quick to issue a statement, because we didn't even have to sleep on the matter to think of it. It is very clear to see in black and white that what the president has done here was he admitted guilt, that he knows what is wrong, but instead of choosing South Africans, he's playing politics with South Africans again. You move a person who's put their hand in a cookie jar of a VBS, again a VBS that was responsible for pensioners and poor South Africans. You take the same person, you take her to the next line of pensioners and poor South Africans who depend on human settlements to administer political oversight there. That does not work. Yeah. He himself, in that move, he chose his political alliances. He chose to play chess with the lives of South Africans. And as the Democratic Alliance, we do not want that. We do not think it's wise. But then we're still saying, Mr. President, you have an opportunity to correct it. You can still, with immediate effect, get rid of her.
All right, let's leave it there. Karabo Khakhau, thank you so much for speaking to us. Of course, she is a spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance, giving us a reaction to the breaking news of that cabinet reshuffle.